Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's supported me in the last few weeks, all my new subscribers and all those who have made comments. I really appreciate your support. It makes me want to make more videos and share them with you. So thanks very much. So today I am back with another little video. This time I'm using Graphic 45's, what's it called now? Life is Abundant. I've got the Patterns and Solids and the 8x8 paper collection, which is this one here. Now I haven't actually used any pieces out of here because I had, let me just get them out for you, I had the ephemera collections, but I've got this pad out because if you haven't got these you can so easily cut from the pad. So I've used from these. If I put this aside, you'll be able to see what's in them. Really nice ephemera pieces, quite large too, all nature themed. And this one was the frames and tags, or tags and frames. That's what's in that one. I bought a bundle actually, it was on eBay, somebody was selling them. And I bought this bundle, which is why I've got so many bits, because I can't usually get hold of all the bits, so this was great. If you haven't seen this pad, it's all done into monthly themes of nature, and also it's got some what do you call it, you know, your star signs, that kind of thing. It's all connected to that as well, so universe themes as well as with nature. And there's some great sentiments, some borders that go with it, lovely themes, all with a black background to these images, but also lots of lovely colours as the papers that coordinate. So you can see that they are really lovely. For the card that I first used, it was this very themed one, so you could very easily cut apart these cut aparts and use those. So that's an overview. That's probably my favourite here. Look at that. And the December one. So I've got tons there to use on other projects. I think it'll be great for, probably, even though it's year round, I think it'll be a great one for autumn. So that's what I've got in those. And these are the colour themes here. A black, green, lovely blue and the orangey red. So what have I made? Well, I'm calling this the double fold back card. This is the little cut apart, not the cut aparts, the die cut elements that I've used here, and it opens like this, like so. And when it stands up, it's got this kind of effect to it. And there's room there. You could easily stamp a sentiment. I've left mine blank because I'm not sure what I'm going to put on there yet. And there's room on the back too. So you've plenty of areas to decorate. You could easily layer this up higher than I have. I've just kept mine quite low so that it will go in a regular envelope. And talking about envelopes, I've made this in the size that fits both US and UK to make it easier. So our UK envelope here, which is roughly a 6 by, what are we? Let me just do this one. For our envelopes are bigger than the US ones, so ours are 4.5 by just over 6 1/4. But I know the US ones are 4.5 by 5.5, so this fits in both, and it does actually fit in this envelope because I've tried it. So rather than make two lots of sizes, there we go, I'm in there. Folds down flat, which is great. Probably for the UK versions of the envelope, we've got a bit more room if you want to overlap on the edges. If you want to pop your elements coming over the edge, then you can do. But if you're in the US, you really need to keep them within the confines of the size of the card. But whichever, they're easy to follow. So this is my first one, teamed up with the green papers there and the red, which I love on that one. And these are the instructions. So I've wrote these all out. Let me just come out a little bit so you can see. There They're all on there. So we're going to do a double fold back card, and it needs some card for the base. So you first of all need a 5.5 by 8 piece, and on the long side you're going to score 1.5 and 2 3/4 inches. So let's do that. And you're going to do the 1.5 and 2 3/4 inches from each end. So 1.5 and 2 3/4. Flip that round, 1.5 and 2 3/4. Now, because I'm going to score both ways, I'm going to give myself my score lines on both sides to make it fold nice and easily. So that's what I've got. The first score line I'm going to fold back. The second one I'm going to fold in. Make sure you give those a good fold down. Same on this one. Fold back the first one, and the second one is going to go in. There's going to be a little gap in the middle there, and there's going to be an overlap here. That is what you want. I'm going to give them a good crease down because this is quite a strong black card. So that's what we've got to start with. Then on the instructions, we've got a front panel which is 5.5 by 3.5, which is what I've cut here, and a back panel, which is here, and a back panel which is 5.5 by 4.25. All those three pieces will come from easily cut from one A4 in the UK and one 8.5 by 11 in the US. So once you've done that, you have actually got your card base ready. And the way this will work is this mechanism that you've got here will fit on this larger base, and this front piece will go on the front, only attached to one side. So let's start off. So I've got a side strip here on my papers now, which is 1.25 by 5.25, and you only want one piece. Yeah, just get mine. This is my green piece, and it's going to fit just on there like that. You don't want one on the other side because you're going to attach your front panel to that. So one is fine. You can make these cards in all sorts of papers that you've got in your stash, and they work well if you combine some colours together. So that's my side strip. Then it says 2 inside strips of 1 by 5.25. So I've got green again here, and these are going to go in here. So let's pop those on. I'm just using tacky glue that I've popped into one of these little tubs because I quite like the little tubes. They're easier to handle, and I think you've got quite a bit of control with them, and they're light, so you're not trying to squeeze a big tub, which is great if you've got, you know, problems with your hands or whatever. It's nice to just have a small tub to use. So let's pop that one on. So that's how that's looking. Then we've got inside back, which is this 2.25 by 5.25 in white. Now, if beforehand you want to stamp a sentiment on here, I'd do that now. If not, just pop that one in. Let's stick that one in the middle there. There we go, try and get those kind of even. That's that one. Okay, so that's how that's going to look. Then you need to attach this to your back panel. But before you do, you want to put your outer front strips on. These outer front strips are 3/4 of an inch by 5.25, and you need 2. So I've done these in the blue. So I'm going to make sure I get them the right way up because the moons are that way. And I'm going to stick those on the outside. Now all you need to do here is just equally space them from the top and the sides and the bottom. There There we go. Same on this one. Just give them the same kind of border, and that's what you've got on there. Now once you've got those stuck down, this piece then needs to be stuck in the middle of them, and I've stuck this because it's going to be opening and closing quite a bit. I've stuck this with some red line tape just so that it's got a good hold. I'm just going to pop a couple of strips of that on. And I'm also going to pop some glue in the middle there to give me a bit of wiggle room. I put it over the tape just so that it will hold down, but it will also give me time to manoeuvre. So hold that shut, and then this is going to go in the middle, right up on that top edge. You want to position that. Make sure it's straight because you want it to open at the bottom. Before you give it one final push down, make sure it is straight. That's it. Get that on there. And then give that a good press down. And that's when you've got that going on. So that's that part. I then need to put my front, which is my front panel, attached to here. But I'm going to first of all put my front and back mat on. What I've got is the blue paper again. This is my 3/4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to add that on. And you can layer up as much as you like as in depth wise, so if you prefer to have this on dimensionals you can do. I'm going with a flat part for this one. Down. That black card does not look straight on that edge to me. Bear with me a second. Because I don't think it is. That's better. Okay, and then I have got a white piece, which is the 3x5, which I'm going to stick on the top. This might look quite nice if you embossed it with one of your embossing folders. So that gives me my blue edge and my tie-in for my colours. Just give that a wiggle to get that one in place. So there's that. I'm now going to add this to my card base. So again, on this side panel, I'm going to pop some red line tape again, just to hold this down. Just take those off there, and then oops, add some glue along those pieces. What I'll do is just get that off the edges. Okay, so I'm going to hold that flat, and this then is going to go, you see there, in the middle again. So I'm just edging this to these outside edges. It's going to meet the bottom and the top again. Leave it the same kind of border on your outside pieces. Give that a really good push down, and there you have your mechanism. And when it opens, you see you get the contrasting green that goes with the blue. So then all I need is to put my back panel on. We'll do that now. Now this you could decorate too. You could add a little strip of your pattern paper just to add a bit of interest on the back, or an element cut from the papers. That's too big for starters. Let's just trim that off. What's happened there? a big piece there. I hadn't trimmed that one down. Let's try again. There we go. Pop that one on the back. A little wiggle there. A wiggle there. Okay. And then I have got this piece out of the cutter parts. So this was one of the die cut elements. So I'm going to pop this one on some foam pads. See if I can get that one stood up. There we go. Get that foam off. Those foam always gets on my fingers. Okay, let's try and get that one off. There we are. Okay, and I'm going to position that one in the middle there. Just going to lightly put that in for a second. Now I've got some other elements too to add to this. I've got the sun, be here now with the sun, and I have got the larger dragonfly that I'd quite like to pop over the top. So this larger dragonfly, I'm going to add just a little piece on there and a touch of glue on his tail here, and then I'm going to stick that over the top of the smaller dragonfly like so, just to give a bit of dimension there, and I can lift his wings up like that. That's what I'm going to go with there. I'm going to add my sun on the top here. I think I'll have to pop that there. Pop a little bit of glue here, and I'm going to place that there. Could be my little sentiment up there. And I have got a smaller dragonfly, but I think he's not going to look quite right down there. But I've got this swirl and another little swirl for this side that I may just tuck in or tuck somehow. Just see what that looks like swirled in there. A little bit of a swirly along the bottom there. And I've also got this little butterfly here, dragonfly. Do I prefer him? This is where you start fiddling about, isn't it? I think I might pop him down the bottom there. So I'm going to give him a little bit of tape on him there. And a bit of glue on his wing. Maybe a dot on there. And see if I can pop him along the bottom there. Might do. There we go. Do I want any more of that orangey on? I wonder. This is when you start fiddling around, isn't it? No, I don't think so. So I've got those. I can always put my other dragonfly either inside, or I could put him on the back. But I'm going to hold off there. I'm going to just add some gems, because I've got some nice orangey gems, and I wouldn't mind adding those to add to the colour. So I'm going to pop 3 here. This will just bring in the colour from that orange that I've got up the top. And luckily, these happen to be the same colour orange. Because sometimes you haven't got anything to use orange on, have you? So this one's ideal. Oops, where are we going here? Up here. And the last one. Pop that one on there. I think that looks okay. So that is my second, what are we calling it? Double fold back card. Let's just get the other one in. And you can see there how cute they look. You can have also added some more gems down the bottom here if you wanted to. But I think they stand up and look great together. So those are another easy fold card for you to add to your catalogue of card bases and folds. So I hope you enjoyed those. If you do, please give me a like and a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Tell me which ones you prefer or your ideas of what you could do with them. I'd love to know. And I shall see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.